Now, when we talk exposure, what we're talking about is the level of luminance in the image, or the level of black in an image. Now, you've got to get this right to get the best results. And there's a facility built into this camera, which is also featured in a lot of other cameras. And what it's called is zebra stripes. And zebra stripes let you accurately gauge where your exposure is at. Now, when you're filming a scene, pure white would peak at 100%. Off-whites, something that might have white in it but isn't going to be completely white, like flesh tone, would peak at about 70%. So you can set what's called your zebra stripes, diagonal lines which show highlights of exposure. You can set these zebra stripes to actually show you what your exposure is going to be. So if I go into the menu, choose the very first menu, which is camera process, press the stick in on the left of the actual screen and scroll. Okay, so here we go. We've got zebra. Now, you've got controls to switch the zebra on or off, but if you notice under that you've got threshold. Now this is where you set the zebra stripes to let you know where your exposure is at. And this is something that different cameramen set to different levels according to what they want to know. So I move to threshold, I press the button in, and you can see that there's two numbers there. One is 70 and one is 85. If I move that up, I'm going to put that right up to 100%. Now, I don't want to go over 100% on the zebras. In fact, what I think I'll do is I'll pull that down to 95, which means as soon as I start getting hot on the exposure, I'm going to see those zebra stripes on my image, which says that is the peak of where you want to be. I don't really want to go much over 95%, maybe a tiny bit because I've got that 5% to work with to get to 100. But if you start pushing your image beyond 100%, that's when your image is going to effectively get terribly overexposed and potentially not be usable. So I set the top threshold to 95%. Press the button, okay? And if I go back into menu, camera process, choose zebra. So I've got my threshold set to 70% at the minimum and 95% at the top. You'll see that there's different indications as to what is the peak and what is the bottom. So if I push the stick up or down, I can say I can now adjust the bottom, and I could put that down to say 60% or 70%. Personally, I'll put that at 70 because I happen to know that flesh tones run at 70% when you're filming an image. So 70 will show me something for flesh tones, and 95 will show me something for absolute highlights with a tiny little bit of leeway before I get to 100%. Reading zebra stripes is something you'll get better at with experience, but for the moment you can even not really worry about the bottom threshold and just worry about the top. You don't want to go over that 95-100% threshold, because if you do, you're going to overexpose your image. Keep an eye on your zebra stripes and you can get your exposure to be right pretty much all the time. It depends how good you are at setting it, but this is the way the professionals work. So if you're just getting to grips with this camera, remember the zebra stripes, because this is crucial to knowing where you're at with your exposure.